There's something special about a watch that doesn't just copy, but combines. The Addiesdive AD2101 isn't a clone, it's a fusion. A retro reinterpretation that borrows elements from multiple iconic designs and brings them together in a surprisingly cohesive, wearable package. And the kicker? It costs just $80. This isn't a homage to one specific model, it's a mix. You've got cushion-style flanks reminiscent of 1940s and 50s military watches. You've got twisted lugs straight out of Omega's Speedmaster design language. Then there's the oversized, unguarded crown, a callback to early Rolex Submariners. It's not trying to be any one thing, and that's exactly why it works. It doesn't follow or homages one inspiration. There are a couple of inspirations that have really impacted the design and the feeling that we get from this watch. Anyways, I've left the link to the listing I got this watch from in the description below the video, so make sure to check it out if you're after a sharp price on this Addiesdive AD2101. And now let's get into a comprehensive review of this timepiece. Let's talk dimensions. The case measures 40mm across and 14.5mm thick, thanks in part to that beautifully domed sapphire crystal. Lug to lug, a deceptively long 53mm. But hear me out, it wears smaller than that sounds. The lugs aggressively slope downward, hugging the wrist and avoiding overhang even on my 6.5-inch wrist. The lug width is a clean 20mm, and the weight comes in at around 140 grams sized up. Now when you look at this watch in profile, you start to notice just how sculpted this case is. It's more complex than it appears at first glance. The bottom half resembles a classic cushion shape, while a flat machined bevel stretches from one twisted lug to the other. Brushing across the case is fine and satin-like, catching light in soft, intentional ways. And then you've got that polished ceramic bezel insert adding contrast and depth. The edge of the bezel is grippy, with well-cut teeth that are brushed to match the case. But interestingly, the underside of the bezel is mirror polished, almost like a hidden detail only the wearer knows about. The bezel action itself, surprisingly refined. It's a 120-click unidirectional setup, and the feel is excellent. Clicks are smooth but tactile, with a muted ratcheting sound. There's almost no backplay, and it aligns cleanly at the 12 o'clock position. The markers on the ceramic insert are engraved and filled with C3 lume, giving off that classic green glow when the lights go out. The crown is also a standout feature. It's oversized at 7mm, unguarded, bead blasted, and fully screwed down. No polish here, just a coarse utilitarian texture that makes it easy to grip. It's signed too, adding a nice touch of detail without being flashy. Flip the watch over and you get a screw-down case back with the Addiesdive logo and specs engraved around the edge. It's clean and sharp, but understated. Exactly what you want on a retro-inspired diver. Now, the bracelet. And here's where opinions might split. It's a solid stainless steel setup held together by push pins with a mix of finishes, brushed outer links and high polished center links and edge facets. Personally, I like the contrast. It gives the watch more light play and makes it feel a little more upscale. The link articulation is smooth and tolerances are decent. Not perfect, but definitely above average for the price. But there are two quirks. First, the male end links protrude, extending the effective lug-to-lug and undermining the otherwise compact wearability. And second, the clasp. It's a basic, unsigned unit with a pressed steel wing and 3 micro adjustments. It works, it's secure, but it doesn't match the premium vibe the watch head gives off. A milled, signed clasp would have elevated the entire package. Now let's get to what really sells this watch, the dial and crystal. You're getting a double-domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, giving the watch that classic vintage look and excellent scratch resistance. Viewed from wide angles, the dial remains clear and undistorted. And what a dial it is! Matte black with a warm orangey beige print that evokes vintage radium tones, without the radiation, of course. The applied indices are clean, lume-filled blocks without chrome surrounds, keeping things understated. There's a simple date cutout at 3 o'clock. No border, no bevel, just clean machining and a dial matching background. It's subtle and it works. The hands follow suit, Mercedes style hour hand, pencil shaped minute, and a needle thin lollipop seconds hand with a counterweight. Everything is loomed in C3. And in the dark, the performance is excellent. Hands, indices, bezel, all glow evenly with strong brightness and solid longevity. So what's powering all of this? Inside is a standard Seiko NH35 automatic movement. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, has hacking and hand winding, and gives you about 40 hours of power reserve. It's not exotic, but it's reliable, serviceable, and well known. No surprises there. Here's the thing, for $80 this watch punches so far above its weight that it's almost hard to categorize. It doesn't look like any one watch, but it feels like all the best parts of 4 or 5 of them, carefully pulled together into a single, well-executed design. It's not perfect. The bracelet could be better, the clasp could be signed, and the protruding lugs are a head-scratcher. But none of that takes away from what this watch gets right. In a sea of obvious homages, the Addiesdive AD2101 dares to do something a little different, and that alone makes it worth your attention.